In today's video, I'm going to teach you a bunch of tips about how to deal with one of the most effective strategies right now that demons are using against survivors. So what strategy am I talking about? That's when they're using a max level warlord, they find you fairly quickly, and then they're using possessed basic units to just sit there and harass and harass and harass for the rest of the game. If you've been dealing with a lot of basic unit possession demons, two characters that I would highlight right away are going to be Hunter Ash, because he can anti-possess them. He's good against possessed survivors and possessed basic units. He's okay against possessed elite units. But then also Leader Ash, because Leader Ash has that Q ability where he sticks his arm up in the air and everything takes a bunch of balance bar damage. So I'm going to click play here, and then you'll start to see how we go up against this demon. And I actually have it fast forwarded a little bit to right when we start confronting the demon, so you can see what this starts to look like. All right, so I'm going to click play here, and immediately, as soon as the demon gets on me, we get a tell. You see that? You see how I just hit the demon twice and that balance bar hasn't gone down at all? That's how we know immediately that we need to get going and stick together, because this demon's level 45. Only level 45 warlords get that balance bar buff. Wait. Oh, he's level 45. Yep. And then he's possessing a basic unit and trying to puke on me right away, so I can't move. So for me, what that means is get out of there and tell everybody what's going on. Otherwise, I would get destroyed. I have no chance in a 1v1 up against a 45 demon down here. He's really rushing me. So Hatch looks like he's actually trying to chase this. Yeah, which was a perfect play. So chasing down that demon to go ahead and anti-possess him with Hash's ability is really nice. And then from here on out, we have to stick together and try to stumble everything. Anti-stumble, or not anti-stumble. Stumble is how we're going to go ahead and deal with a demon like this, or anti-balance bar. Because, no, nothing. A possessed unit's gonna absolutely clobber anyone who tries to take them on in a 1v1. So anytime you see somebody get possessed, you just got to sit there and pounce on it and then use your abilities. And just like that, if you use your ability, he can't move anymore. Lash is such a good counter to this strat. Fucking love so Lash is amazing for it, and so is Hash. And then again, your team wants to prioritize sledgehammers, basically. Sledgehammers or shovels. Or if you have a hunter with a really big shotgun, that helps too. Just try to make it so that anytime they possess something, they cannot keep attacking you, because you will lose a war of attrition up against a demon that keeps possessing basic units if you're not on top of those things immediately.
The heroic survivors have gathered the final piece.
Now we have all three map pieces here, because again, we fast forwarded a little bit here. And to give you a little bit of perspective, you might have saw that the demon found us at around 27:30, so it took about 2.5 minutes, which isn't a terrible time, but I do think demons can find you much faster. Like when we get a good spawn, we can find survivors between 30 seconds to a minute and a half typically. But what actually didn't work out in the demon's favor here is both of the blue objectives spawned on the bottom of the map, which meant he had the rest of the map to go ahead and be like, well, where are they? And he probably went far left, far right, and we actually spawned way top, so it took him a little bit longer than he typically would have taken to find us. So that worked out in our favor. Now, something you might be wondering here is, well, I thought you said the basic units just don't stop coming. Go ahead and pay attention to Warrior Ash in the bottom left. It's adventure class. And you'll see that he's actually dealing with the demon, because you can see his health bar going up and down, his spear going up and down, while the rest of us are looting. And this is a huge mistake by the demon. Do not waste all your time on the warrior, even if they're by themselves. Especially Warrior Ash. If you go up against a good warrior, they're going to be able to waste a lot of your time while the other three are getting some really good looting in. Supply crate? I swear. Kendrick just runs. Which is what's happening right now. We actually found a legendary crate. There's 2 Shems down in the basement here. I'll grab them both. But you'll see that his fear's going up. He probably just got charged. His HP's going down a little bit. He's probably trying to fear chain a bit. Based off of how that HP just went down, he just got puked on. I got a revolver now. So he is dealing with something right now. But the demon should not be just sitting here trying to deal with the warrior, even if he's by himself right now. If you get a feel that that warrior knows how to handle himself, you got to back off and then try to attack a weaker unit, such as a leader, a hunter, or a support. But I can see where the demon's coming from, though, because this is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because let's say you go ahead and you attack Hash and Lash, well, you're just going to get stumble locked. However, the warrior's not there, so you have a little bit less of a chance of being stumble locked because the warrior's not following up with a big sledgehammer. It's a tough call either way. Improvise spear, no one picks it up. If adventure class wasn't as good at playing Wash as he is, it might have been a good strategy. I think they're all in the Discord calling. I'm the one that's not. But that's part of what you got to figure out when you're playing demon. Is this warrior giving me a lot of trouble? Well, maybe he's not worth my time.
I'll split you down the middle.
And what you'll see right away is I actually invest big into fear. One of the reasons for that is I don't want to get possessed, but another weird thing that's going on when you play Lash, I don't know if it's Lash or all the leaders, but if I get charged, my fear actually goes negative, which is really interesting. I actually lose fear anytime I get charged, and you'll see it next time I get a jump scare on the screen. It's really bizarre. Him while I'm doing that finisher to like chain him, which is nuts. I can't believe I never realized that. And again, anytime you see a basic unit, you just get in there and you try to go ahead and make sure it cannot keep moving. Bam. And we'll get better and better at this as we start to get our synergy going. Pablo with a good heal there. But look at how long he's stun locked. This is why it's so important to pounce. Now, we don't really have good stumble weapons yet. We have a sword and 2 chainsaws. Chainsaw is good on Wash because he gets the chainsaw efficiency. But other than that, we want to get some sledgehammers. And now, since we went ahead and got all 3 map pieces, we're trying to make our way on over to the blue objective as quickly as we can. But something you might notice is Wash got stranded by himself, and we can see his health bar going down. So that means he needs help. So we got to back up and go help him. If you see somebody get stranded, go help them. Don't just leave them to die, which he might even go down here anyway. Because even Warrior Ash, like, he will run out of resources eventually, and then is still going to get destroyed in a one-on-one. But we team up with him here. We group up with him, and I think we save him before he goes down. I can't remember. Here, Pablo, Shem's on the ground for you. Sure enough. 2 Ammies, 2 Shems on the ground right here.
I marked something for you.
Or there's whoever needs it. And that growling, that means the demon's nearby, in case you did not know that. So that means you got to be a little cautious as to what's going on. Yeah, and at this point, everybody sticks together. Nobody splitting up. Nobody driving off in a car on their own. Everybody in, everybody in, everybody in. Sticking together is a foolproof way to go ahead and deal with this.
Good. It's a good show.
Bonk. I think it's weird that you can run through a Warlord unit and kill it like that, but a Skeleton's going to go ahead and just lose his Valence Bar. Unless they fix that. Now, something to keep in mind here is in that situation, if we wanted to, if we were feeling a little more threatened, we could have just sat there and took out the basic unit and not started the objective right away. Because if you start the objective, they start getting a lot of passive refill on their infernal energy. And if you don't start it, well, then they don't get that passive energy, which means that they're more likely to not be able to follow up with another basic unit.
Activated the Kandarian dagger. All manner of evil spirits will sense their imminent doom and attack accordingly.
And at this point, what we're going to be doing is prioritizing basics when they're spawned in, but then also F-chaining. And F-chaining is when you go ahead and just try to stay in finishers as much as you can so you're invincible as long as possible.
There we go.
Also dropping Shemps on the ground for Pablo. Now you see how my fear actually goes down here? Very weird.
Oh, shit.
Possessing is kind of a mixed bag sometimes on a survivor because you lose all your infernal energy if they knock you out, which sucks. Or you lose a lot of it at least.
There she is.
Ooh, Henrietta, let's go. Now, I don't use my Q on Henrietta because typically we can just melt her HP before the balance bar even kicks in anyway. But right now we're just trying to kite her and make it so she's not doing a ton of damage. That 3 is a trap. You don't ever want to use your 3 when you're playing Demon unless you're not worried about other people doing damage to you. I think you might have accidentally possessed the car there. Look at that. Q just knocks him right over. Lash is so good against possessed units. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using a gun here instead of just going chainsaw, it's for speed. I want to take out these units quickly before he can possess them. And sometimes
Your
shooting your
team
guns a bit
offers the
faster
Kendarian
than
dagger.
possessing or not possessing, using a melee weapon on everything.
Let's do this with the lights out. Back and back.
Oh, we're gonna get some chefs here at the looks of it. Yeah, our resources are looking pretty rough. So Pain Manor is actually a really high loot area a lot of the time. So instead of going to the next objective right away, we're gonna loot a little bit to try and be prepared for another fight. Because survivors always have the edge in a game as long as they have resources. Once you resource drain them, then they're out of tricks. Which is part of why these basic unit strategies are so effective. So using Leader Ash, using Hunter Ash, those are non-resource intensive ways to deal with these type of basic unit possessions. Where if you're just sitting there trying to face tank everything all the time and out heal it, you're eventually going to lose every time. So that's why you want to invest in characters that can do it for free. Another nice part about Lash in that scenario specifically is if I were to use my Q right away and all those units show up, that would make it so that they're all vulnerable to being finishered again. So if the Warlord doesn't use their Q right away, that means that everybody can go into a chain of invincibility. I think my fear went down after he just jump scared me. That was hilarious. Yeah, I need to get a good bonking weapon, I think. But speaking of a good bonking weapon, you'll actually see that Wash picked up a bat. But I think the bat and the chainsaw actually have the same balance bar damage. Yeah, we're just using Fs here. Using Fs is such a good way to avoid damage. Another thing you probably don't want to do. Okay, let me actually talk about. Look at those animations. Look at the. Let's talk about prioritization when you're playing Demon. Characters that I would prioritize would include supports and leaders. Reason being is that warriors can usually just outlast you for way too long. They waste your time. And then same thing with hunters. Even though they're squishy, they can outlast you and waste your time because they have so much stamina, which means they're really good at dodging. So support characters and leaders are definitely the easiest targets if you're playing Demon. All right, time for us to go, huh? I don't have the car. Now, I think these three were talking in a Discord call. I was not in the call with them. I ended up joining the call, but I just went open mic so that they could hear me trying to say anything I could for them. But I had no idea what they were saying the whole time. Nice. It's a big mistake I see people make all the time. You see that purple crate? They want to take the purple crate as soon as they see it. They go, ooh, shiny. Don't go after the purple crate right next to the objective, especially when you know the demon's already on you, because that's just going to put you in a really vulnerable spot. Do it after the fact. You don't need it right now. Do it later. Do it after the objective's done and the demon gets booped. This tree's going to be trapped for sure. Yeah, not to mention it's by a scary tree.
The team has awakened the lost pages, striking terror into the black-hearted evil. Expect resistance.
Yep. So there's a lot of different units here, and really I'm just sitting here on lookout looking for basic possessed units. I know I'm walking by a bunch of them and not necessarily killing everything. It's really because I'm just looking out for a possessed unit. But we actually have Henrietta up here. And again, he keeps trying to chase the hunter. Really what you need to be doing in this scenario is going after me or going after Pablo. But I can see how Kendrick looks a little appetizing because he's low on HP. But it's just, you're going to waste your time and your resources as a demon. And now he's going after Pablo, and you can see how Pablo does not have the chops to go ahead and keep dodging that. That's why you go after Pablo. Let's really be low on chimps here. But even with as well as we're playing right now, you can see that we're resource drained. We're not healing as much as we need to. But sitting there hitting those Qs with Lash is really nice. In an ideal scenario, I'd be talking to Kendrick and we'd be alternating between his ability and my ability.
That's going to be Pablo. If he needs it. We're all pretty low.
Look at that, perfect. And then same thing we were talking about earlier, where I'm taking headshots and trying to just nail units quickly rather than necessarily melee all of them, because I have plenty of ammo. Ammo's not my resource constraint right now. So headshotting them quickly will make it so they die faster, which means I'm less likely to have to heal, and healing is where my resources are actually really tight right now.
Nice.
You have procured the lost pages.
So now we can open up
this
that
one.
purple crate. But something I think I do is I drop my I drop my amulets just in case he has mini ashes on them. And I do believe it's trapped anyway. Yeah, it's a hand, but if it was mini ashes, he could have stole my amulets, which would have sucked.
You now possess
My fear
the lost
resistance is
pages
disgusting.
and Kandarian dagger. You must face the Dark Ones. I wish you the best of luck.
Better. Stronger. Faster.
Purple lever action here. I don't know if anybody wants that.
I keep the pistol, reason being is not a lot of people use pistols, and then I have plenty of ammo for it. A lot of times when I'm playing this game, I see people make the mistake of everybody wanting a long ammo gun. And first off, long ammo doesn't spawn anywhere near as much as handgun ammo does anyway. But there's just too many people trying to pull for the same ammo pool, which makes it so you run out of resources. And again, if the survivors have resources, game's easy. If they don't have resources, they lose really quickly. A lot of times when you're playing Demon, you're just trying to drain the survivors. Not every fight has to be a kill, but if you drain them of a couple of shemps or a bunch of ammo or something like that, you're in a good spot.
They're still there.
Yeah. So Demon got booped pretty hard here at the looks of it. We're not pressing Dark Ones right away because we're low on resources. And that's one of the effects of basic units charging us constantly. So we're going into the terminal station because we know terminal station has a lot of loot in it typically. It's usually a lot of chests, but also just a lot of loot in general. And we're trying to just load up on healing. And we're actually in a pretty good spot in terms of armor. I have a couple ammies on me and we're all pretty armored up, but our Shemps game has been pretty bad all game. So trying to get what we can here.
Not my first rodeo.
He's on us. Maybe. Maybe not.
Time for a skirt nap. It's gonna hurt you way more than it's gonna hurt.
I don't know how that was a headshot. The hit registration in this game is a little goofy sometimes. So something I really disagree with what the Demon just did here was he possessed Adventure Class. I think that's not a great move because you drain so much of your infernal energy when you possess a survivor and the survivors fight back. What I would have done there, assuming he had the ability to do so, was placed a basic portal and then press my Q and then possess some of the basic units and then try to attack that way because that's way more overwhelming and way more resource efficient. Got him. Because now he's drained and he has nothing to fight with, which is not where you want to be as a demon.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Not to mention he can't go ahead and take advantage of his fear at a different spot. I'm assuming the reason why he possessed him is he might have saw Adventure Class trying to get the Igniter going, but still, just let him have it. Not worth it.
Pressing Q to stumble it.
Look at that. Doesn't even stand a chance.
Here we go.
That's really, like, the really easy way to describe how to deal with possessed basic units is lash, hash, and stick together. That's pretty much all there is to it. Oh, and pick up a stumble weapon. Lash, hash, stick together, use a sledgehammer. You do those four things, you're probably going to win.
Dropping long on the ground. All right, we got a...
One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this Dark Ones fight, something that I think could really help people, is pay attention to where your support is. Because you're taking damage from a bunch of different angles at this period of the game. So if everybody is trying to attack the Dark Ones in a group, that allows you to go ahead and get healed by Pablo or Sash or Cheryl because you're all close to each other in proximity. Where if people are running around in circles with the Dark Ones, I see that a lot. People just hold control and do a clockwise circle or a counterclockwise circle. It makes it much harder for your support to get healing off. So So just try to stay clumped together, look at your minimap, stay close to your support, make it easy for them to heal you.
Possessed unit here. Pressing Q on it.
He's getting almost no value out of his main strategy. We're taking away so much of his power.
Man. Oh my lord.
He's actually reached the point where he's starting to possess elite units because he's feeling like he's running out of options. But even then, too much stumble. Stumble wins games. Crowd control wins games in pretty much any game. This one's no exception. But look at how we're all sticking together here. This is how you want to support your support. Thank you, Henrietta. Big fart. Fart Lord coming in strong.
I'm working on the basics.
Right, now I'm working on basics here because there's not really a whole lot that I'm going to do to Henrietta that's super useful. That's mainly the hunter's job. But now what you see there is the basics are dead. Henrietta just died, and now they have nothing to work with. That's why I went ahead and I attacked the basics because, again, the amount of damage I was going to do to Henrietta was probably this much. But now he can't hop right into a basic unit and keep attacking. Oh, Henrietta's still up. Well, never mind her anyway. She's still going to go down pretty quickly. Honestly, something you can do with Henrietta is just run away from her. She's not super scary as long as you're not close to her.
I'm going to go Q this one. He's Q. I didn't hit him a whole lot, though. Adventure needs help. $10 seconds till I can get my Q back up.
Callouts like that are really helpful for your team, by the way. Letting them know that you still have 10 seconds before you can use your ability helps them decide whether or not they want to use theirs.
Here we go. It's time.
By the way, you can dodge that AoE we just got hit by.
The Necronomicon is complete.
This is totally different strat here, or totally different topic, but you see how he just went ahead and made a portal over there? If you are dealing with a Necromancer, again, totally different topic, usually a really good way to tell where the Necromancer put their deuter is to see where they put their portal. So if you know the Necromancer just put a deuter up, but then you see a portal spawn in this direction, well, that probably means their deuter's over there. Or if you see them possess a basic unit over on that side, that probably means their deuter's over there. Use other actions of the demon to determine where they put their flautist.
To seal the breach between our world.
Coming over to help with the Q.
I think he used his Q as well.
Good shit on the Amis. Oh, he's just charging book. Just clobber him.
Melee can do a lot of raw damage. Oh, but see, like, now, speaking of balance bar here, I have a revolver. One of the reasons why I dropped the revolver is because I think Kendrick really likes the revolver, but you'll see that the balance bar damage was way higher on the shotgun, which is why I picked up a shotgun here. Because we're already at the point in the game where we're not really going to be splitting up resources too much. But yeah, I'm taking the double barrel so that I can just stumble things even harder. Now, you can go pistol on your leader because it's really good for anti-possession, but you also can just do this if you're really speccing into stumble. If I felt like the rest of my team wasn't really doing a good job stumbling, I would have gone shotgun earlier.
Nice. 10 seconds till my Q's up.
Henrietta. Henrietta? And she's got nothing now. This is just a panic Henrietta. Look at that. No chance.
Nice. Gonna press Q. Stumbled.
That's how you deal with it. I know it's super scary and feels really oppressive. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the idea of possession spam or how it's a cheap strategy, but like, frankly, I don't think it is because it's really easy to counter. You just have to do the counter. And again, all that is lash, hash, a sledgehammer, and stick together. And I didn't even have a sledgehammer.
Because of his anti-stumble on his basics.
So really, it's just lash, hash, stick together. And then this strategy loses all of its steam. There's nothing they can do. I guarantee you they win a lot of their matches using this strategy, but we had the counter to it. So that's really all you gotta do. Lash, hash, and stick together.
I wish I could
GG.
be with you to witness bonds of hell.
Just
and
like
dark
that.
spirit.
If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below or any commentary that you'd like to provide as well. We stream just about every single night on twitch.tv/SwingPoynt. I hope you're able to learn a thing or two about this, but if you want to learn more, go ahead and check out those streams. If this video was helpful, please consider subscribing down below. We're going to cover this game more in the future. And with that, thank you guys. You're the best, and I'll see you in the next video that we do around here.